Perfect. All right. We will call the April 13th, 2020 meeting to order. Ask clerk take roll.
Walters.
Here.
Vogel.
Here.
Dvorak.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Sarchet.
Here.
First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I do have one deletion. That'll be business item B, resolution 2020-35. We're going to delete that from the meeting tonight. It'll come back in a couple of weeks. Need a motion, please.
So moved. Walters.
Vogel, second.
Roll call, please.
Vogel.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Time to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing on the proposed amendment to Polk City Area 2 Urban Renewal Area 2. Ask the clerk when the, when was the notice published? Sorry.
April
Off my
3rd.
game. Any comments for or against?
No, sir.
Perfect. Now can staff provide a report?
We are needing to amend the city renewal plan. This amendment would include 3 development agreements utilizing tax increment financing. The first development agreement, which is on the agenda for this evening to be approved, is the Kimberly Development Agreement regarding trail improvements. The dollar amount would be do not exceed $110,000. The second development agreement is for Hy-Vee for storm sewer improvements with a do not exceed amount of $100,000. And then the third development agreement would be for Quick Star traffic signal improvements with a do not exceed amount of $125,000.
Is there anyone on the phone who wishes to be heard for or against proposed amendment? Hearing none, does council have any questions for staff?
These are TIF agreements, correct?
Yes.
And the gain to the city would be?
For the Kimberly agreement, there would be a trail installation. For Hy-Vee,
You're on mute, Chelsea.
sorry, let's try that again. So for the Kimberly development agreement, it would be for a trail improvement. For Hy-Vee, a storm sewer improvement. And then Quick Star would be a traffic signal improvement. So all 3 of these development agreements are tied to public improvements.
Well, as far as the trail improvement goes, that was a sidewalk they would have put in anyway, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So we're actually not making any gains there because it was something he would have had to do anyway. So he's just getting $110,000 for doing something he would have had to do anyway.
Yeah, for upsizing to a trail instead of a sidewalk.
And the other one, as far as storm sewer goes, that was something, is it storm sewer or sanitary sewer? Storm sewer, correct?
Storm, yep.
They've known about that since the beginning. It seems to me like now that the last minute they're running TIF for that.
I will tell you, Ron, the storm sewer improvement, the city decided to get involved and to kind of mediate an issue between the 2 parties. Correct.
If we don't do this, then the project stall.
Correct.
And and for another,
Like, it's not the store itself, correct? So I have,
Correct. It is for traffic. Yeah, and we split the cost. You know,
I have less qualms about that one than, and I think your point's valid on, is there $110,000 worth of upgrade with a sidewalk to a trail? That development has been problem second that we started. I said before, I hope we learn lessons from dealing with I would have changed my vote from the very first agreement we had with them if I could do it over again. So I struggle between the philosophical point that I think you're coming from, Ron, and us just being able to close it out.
There's a cherry.
well, it's, yes, philosophical, but it's also financial.
Yeah, but the point you're making is, are we giving money for them to do things that they would otherwise do? And I don't think that's true. They're not going to put in a trail. They're not going to put in the sanitary sewer needs that we would probably want them to do. So that's where our piece of this comes in. Again, I don't think they've acted in good faith with us. I don't know that we, positioned ourselves well in the first agreements we had with them. They've not done what they've said they were going to do. They've not done anywhere close to the work that they said they were going to do and the time that they said they were going to do. So
That's good. We agree on that.
So Rob, I agree. Ron, I agree. However, I also agree that either we kick the can down the road and continue to deal with it, or we move forward and then be able to realize the tax, residential tax, and then the commercial tax from Hy-Vee being able to come in there, even though that's not associated with the trail, but it could have a bigger impact on the agreement itself.
and that's where the philosophical shift to the practice.
Right. So we either have to say, hey, I can't do it because it just doesn't, it's that much money, but we're also holding up some things that we have to just make these as lesson learns moving forward, and then say, like you said, and then say, all right, well, we know better now. We're not going to do that again, but we have to get the projects going. It's a hard one to swallow, I know, but it is what it is at this point. That's my thoughts.
It is, and I want to be somewhat fair to the pill that we're swallowing. These are quality of life adds that, for the most part, wouldn't have been happening otherwise. The trail, maybe less so on the sanitary sewer, but the traffic signal.
First of all, the trail is just a sidewalk. It's not going anywhere except in front of that, correct?
No,
Going down
Yep,
Third
It's
Street.
not, Ron, it would not be connected until we could make that connection.
but what's the width of the sidewalk they would put in versus the width of the trail that we're asking them to put in?
4-foot sidewalk, and then we're asking them to put in a 10-foot trail.
It's worth it to me, honestly.
Well, yeah, I agree, but we want to talk philosophically. How much did we help with the ones on the other side of the street? They're 10 foot also.
I don't think we can hold a precedent. I think we have to just, again, we've gotten ourselves into this is what it is. I know that we could just sit here and debate this, but this has been a tough thing, I know, for Chelsea to take care of, for Jason, for all of us. Really, it's been looming in front of us, and I'm not on your side, Ron. I'm just simply saying
Well, and I agree with what you say. The staff and Jason have worked really hard on it. But let's face it, we've been getting buffaloed from the start.
Well, let's just take this project as a lesson learned, that when we have these opportunities in front of us, we have a strong development agreement between the developer, the client, and the city, so that everyone knows at the end of the day who's getting what, who's paying for what, and how it's getting paid. I mean, I don't think we had that initially. I think we had some handshake agreements, we had some head nods, and everything has just spiraled out of control for the past few years. And we're to a point now where we can walk away from this and learn from it and go on.
Okay, but I don't think, I for one, am not gonna be walking away with a smile on my face.
Well, I don't think anyone is, Ron. I think everyone is sick and tired of everything that has gone on with this project. It's since 2015 when this came about, it has been a struggle. You know, we've gone through multiple engineers, we've gone through different type of developers arrangements. We've had all sorts of crazy surveys and discussions and arguments with DOT and county and the city and everyone else. So, I mean, I'm not happy with this either. I don't think giving away free money is great at all. I think everyone should be upset about this, but we're to a point now, and I think Dave said it, let's just get behind this, move on, so that we don't have to do it again. And ultimately, we've got some commercial and residential opportunities that we're holding up if we don't move forward on this.
Well, I guess my last comment will be that it's fine if we have learned something. If we don't come
Shame
along,
on us if we don't.
huh?
Shame on us if we don't.
Agree.
No, definitely. Shame on us if we don't.
Well, I've said my piece. Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Comments? Need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting?
So moved. Walters.
Second, Dvorak.
Roll call.
Dvorak? Think that was a yes, Dvorak? You were muted.
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is resolution 2020-30 to approve urban renewal plan amendment for the Polk City Area 2 urban renewal area. Need a motion, please?
So moved, Dvorak.
Second, Vogel.
Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Vogel?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Anderson?
No.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Motion carries. It's time to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing on the proposed development agreement with Kimberly Development Corporation and authorized annual TIF payments. Ask the clerk when the notice was published.
April 3rd?
Any comments for or against?
No, sir.
Staff, you're on.
I'm asking the council for consideration on the Kimberly Development Agreement for this evening, and that would be for the trail improvement project not to exceed $110,000.
Anyone on the phone who wishes to be heard for or against proposed amendment? Hearing none. Anybody on council have any questions, comments, concerns? If not, I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second, Anderson.
Roll call, please.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is resolution 2020-31, approving development agreement with Kimberly Development Corporation, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payment and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement. Need a motion, please.
So moved. Vogel?
Walters.
Jeff, I think you're on mute.
Second, Walters.
Questions, comments, concerns? Roll call, please.
Walters,
Yes.
Dvorak. I skipped Vogel.
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Anderson,
No.
Sarchet.
No.
Motion carries. Next, time to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing on the proposed development agreement with Polk County, Iowa and MGR Developments LLC. Ask the clerk when the notice was published.
April 3rd.
Any comments for or against?
No, sir.
One last time, staff, your turn.
For consideration this evening, a dual development agreement between Polk City and Polk County is in front of the council. This would be for phase 3 of MJR's development, also known as Big Creek Valley Plat 2. This is all public improvements with a do not exceed amount of $1.9 million.
Is there anyone on the phone who wishes to be heard for or against the proposed amendment? Or agreement, sorry. Questions, comments, concerns from council? I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is resolution 2020-32 approving the development agreement. Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments, concerns? Roll call, please.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Anderson.
No.
Motion carries. Next item, consent agenda. Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. For anybody who is listening, just note that we did cancel the spring cleanup event on the 2nd. I know I've had some people that have been inquiring if we were going to cancel, similar to some other communities have done. So just note that it has been postponed till a future date. Business items, item A, resolution 2024 approving pay app number 3 for the 2000 spring repair project in the amount of $43,802.13. Anybody want to speak to this? Any comments, concerns, or a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments, concerns? Roll call, please.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Sorry, we're having problems down here. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Next item, item C, resolution 2020-36, adopting short-term policy regarding LMI funding for utility assistance. Chelsea, you want to speak to this?
Yeah, so I will say that this past month, we had a higher number than usual utility accounts on the shut-off list. And I think the realization has just come forth that people are hurting right now, and kind of wanted to get somewhat creative on this policy, but I'm proposing to the council a short-term policy that would allow people to apply for LMI assistance to cover the cost of their city utility bills. I've kind of just put some basic information in front of the council for tonight, and any of this can be changed or amended, but the suggested dollar amount was that the city would cover up to $125 per month for a city utility bill, and residents could apply within 3 times within a calendar year. I think that knowing we have such a large LMI fund, this would be a nice way that we could help out some of our residents in town. And just to clarify too, this would be for residential property only. LMI would not be applicable to commercial businesses.
Yeah, so I'd like to just say that I applaud Chelsea on this. As we've spoke every day since this thing's been going on and started recognizing the impact that this is going to start having us and people, and started thinking outside the box on this about how we could help some people out. This was one thing that came up to the top of the pile pretty quickly. So I was glad that we were able to work through this and that she was able to get the appropriate people to say that this was a good move moving forward. So I'm hopeful that we can find a way to have some people utilize this, roll this out, find a way for people to find out that it exists out there. Because as she said, just within the last week, learning that the numbers are already going up is certainly a concern. So I hope that we can help some people out with this.
I applaud. Same thing. Anything we can do. I mean, whatever the case may be, I'm open to whatever we need to do to help folks, given that it doesn't provide any hardship. I mean, it's the least we can do. Let's put it that way. So any way you want to structure that, or any sort of special circumstances that people may have, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, Dave. I love this. Thank you for the quick turnaround. I do think there are going to be other decisions in front of us that may be a little bit messier, but this one is a slam dunk approval to people in town, to people who need it, to in a way that's very straightforward. So great work.
You want to make a motion on that?
Motion
I'll
to
make that
approve.
motion.
Second. Sly old dog, you.
It's not his first rodeo. So Ron, you get the motion. Rob, you want the second?
Yeah, I do.
All right, perfect. Does anybody have any other comments to that? We did I'm sorry, cut anybody off on that? Okay, roll call, please.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, first reading of ordinance 2020-400, adding recycling chapter. I think this is probably pretty straightforward, but Chelsea, do you have anything to add to it?
No, this is going to be a new fee for our residents. So this is going to be a challenging time for us to communicate to people, but I think that we start this process now. That gives us plenty of time to roll it out to the people. Since it's a new charge, I'd recommend to the council that all 3 readings occur at separate meetings.
Agreed. Any questions, comments, concerns?
So moved.
Second.
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 Roll call, please.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, third and final reading of ordinance 2020-300, amending sewer rates. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dvorak, Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, Snyder and Associates services invoice for February 2020 in the amount of $20,892.25. Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Walters,
Abstain.
Vogel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, reports and particulars. I know we've got some city staff on the phone, I believe. Does any city staff have any comments they want to add?
This is Kathleen. No, I don't really have anything in particular, other than I'd let you know it was a 2019 street repairs project. Since the April 1st cutoff on that last pay application that was approved tonight, there were 2 patches left, one of which has been completed. So we would anticipate the final or the sub-final pay application would be coming before you next month.
Thank you. Mike, do you have anything to add on those street repairs? I think he's on.
No, we're just we're moving forward, and I'm really happy with them at this point.
Yep, perfect. Jim, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Jeremy?
Nothing for me. Thanks.
I don't know if he's on. Perfect. Yep. Jason? Maybe he's not on.
He's on.
James?
This is Jason. Hello?
Did you have anything to report, Jason?
Do you have,
No,
yeah, do you have anything to report?
Hello,
Sorry.
everybody. Nothing to report, but hi, everybody. Can't wait to meet you.
There you go. Perfect. Jamie, did you have anything?
I do not.
Oh, she is on. See? We're going to get this technology thing figured out. All right. I'll run around the room. I'll start at the top of who's on my screen. Mia, do you have anything?
Nope, just continued thanks to the work everyone's doing. I think the LMI thing was a good move tonight. I know other departments too are working on creative ways to serve our community during this challenging time. So thanks for the continued work.
Jeff?
So last week at the MPO Executive Committee, we approved the 2024 STBG funding recommendation. Polk City will be awarded up to $393,000 for the 3rd Street and Northside Drive intersection improvements. So congratulations to us, and thank you to Chelsea and Kathleen and Mike and other staff that were part of that process. That's the first time we've been awarded STBG funds. That doesn't mean we can't go after additional funds next year and following years for not just that project, but other projects. It's something that we need to continue to keep our eye out on so that we can get more funding for the community that's available to other cities within the metro.
Moving around the Brady Bunch screen. Ron, you got anything?
Yes, I just say thanks for the good news, Jeff. It's great to hear anything good in these times. Appreciate it. It's been tough. It's tough going. This was a good move tonight with this meeting. I'm glad I got through it, and thanks for everybody's help.
Good job with the technology, Ron. Thank your wife for us.
Yeah, thank you.
Rob, you got anything?
Not really. I do just want to make sure it's good to hear Mike and Jim and Jeremy's voice. I'm glad that they have nothing to report, quite honestly. Just keep you guys safe. Know that we're thinking about you guys, and I've heard nothing but things from those departments and the people that are interacting with them. So I think that's commendable. Anyways, it's more so now given where we're at. So keep up the good work, guys. Nothing else to add.
David?
So just quick, I think based on the vote we had earlier in the discussion, I think we are officially now going to be held accountable for doing a better job of making sure that we don't put ourselves in this type of a situation again and approving things that we're certainly not comfortable doing. I don't think any of us were. no matter what the situation may be. So I think now is when we start doing that. We've been talking about it for a long time, but I think we need to really hold ourselves accountable. And now we got Chelsea in place to kind of tighten the reins a little. But I as well did not feel comfortable with that. But I also, it is what it is, and I respect everybody's opinion. And given different circumstances, I probably would have had a different vote as well. But for the sake of making this move. So I'm just put ourselves on notice for that moving forward. At least I will myself, and make sure I'm bringing it up. So that's all I got.
Thanks, man. I see Jenny and Chelsea in the same screen, so I'll call on either one of you two.
I have one thing that I want to just let the council know that we're working on. Something that I think has been a challenge prior to this situation and working through this is our disconnect with the public. And we have been researching an emergency notification system. I wish it wasn't called emergency, because we're looking into a notification system, and that would be used for all communications with residents. But it's a pretty low cost contract we would be looking to sign and implement relatively soon. But it would allow people to sign up for text messages, and you as a resident would pick which communications you would get from the city. But I think we need to kind of work on ways to get in touch with the public, knowing this could go on for a while. So I am looking to implement that probably in the next week or two. I'm just waiting on a couple of staff members to go through the webinars to make sure that their departments will all use that system.
Great.
Perfect.
Good stuff.
Jenny, do you have anything?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I got a couple things. Dave, I want to piggyback on your Kimberly, that whole development up there, although I didn't comment too much during the public hearing on it. I want to thank Chelsea for her hard work on closing this up, because we've now had, she was involved in it, Mr. Mahan was involved in it, Don Sander was involved in it. There's been a lot of hands involved in it, and I'm glad we can finally get to this point and get this one behind us. And everybody's comments on that, and moving forward, like you say, stepping up to the plate on that. A couple other quick things. At the last meeting, I mentioned the passing of Gary Corey. I appreciate Jim's offer. I was able to attend the funeral on that Wednesday, and I appreciate the fire department and the police department and the public works department at the 11th hour stepping up as we were able to bring the procession through town and pass by the fire station. It wouldn't have taken place without quick action by public works, police, and fire, and it was very much appreciated by the family, and it just speaks volumes to still having that small town. We saw a resident standing along the curb as we went by, and it was neat. Unfortunate, and unfortunately 2 days after that, we got word that Jim Moore passed away, who was our previous police chief in Polk City, and he passed away down in I believe he was down in Missouri area when he passed away. But Jim was maintenance department. He was police chief. I don't know. I think he did everything, right, Ron? I mean, Ron,
Yes, he did.
Yes, Jim wore all the hats in Polk City at one point. So
he did it, and he did it, and he did it with flair.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And everybody's probably got a Jim Moore story if they remember Jim Moore. But I just, in the course of a week, we lost two people who'd been around Polk City for many, many years and had more years of service than probably everybody on this call combined. So I just want to take a special moment for both of those guys. And I know that I know that the police department, I talked to Jeremy about it. I know that they did. Jim had made his appearance down at the police department. They did know him, and they do want to do something special for him when the time is right. And there will be something coming with Gary as well. So appreciate everybody's thoughts on that. I don't know if people, I do have a positive thing here. Let me find my note on this. Bridget, and this is regarding the library, but I just thought that this was well done. That Bridget sent an email to myself, Jamie, and to Chelsea. And again, in this time that we're in, we've got people stepping up and trying to help people out, thinking outside the box. And Bridget sent this email, and she said that this morning she was on a call, this was last week, with 24 affiliate chamber professionals and discussing ways that our respective towns are supporting local businesses. They brought up their local libraries to see if it was something that they could implement. Many comments of great job thinking outside the box, where your local city leaders on board, what businesses included, etc. And she ends this by saying, all of which I answered from the bottom of my heart. Quote, Polk City is very fortunate to have the city officials that see the importance of the library and finding ways to support small business in our community in non-traditional ways. I just thought that was really neat that we've got a library willing to step up, do something special. And when Bridget is on this call with 24 affiliate chamber members, that they recognize what a unique thing we've got going here. So kudos to Jamie, kudos to the library group for doing those things, stepping up and thinking outside the box during these unique times. Again, I think that we've got, I'm talking to Chelsea and everybody here. I know that Bridget and Al are doing a great job staying in regular communication with the businesses. They're doing their best that they possibly can. They're trying to find ways to help them with some financial incentives and other things, but it's going to be a long haul, and they're all starting to feel the effects. So, if you've got some extra time and can order out from those local businesses, I'll continue to say it since she's not here, but get out and support local, if at all possible. And hopefully we can make it through this. I have talked to representatives, outside of Polk City, talked to Supervisor Brownell on Friday. I expect some more information to be coming out from them in short order. And I think that if you guys aren't paying attention, we all really should be. There's been local news stories both late last week, as early, and again over the weekend, and again today. But the impact that this is going to have on local governments, and I want to again say that that's already being looked at internally here as far as how that's going to be felt, and it's going to be across the board. And the numbers out of Des Moines, if you haven't seen their memo, it's available. I think KCCI had it on their website. Was pretty scary to say the least. So I appreciate everybody in here who's working hard to minimize the impact, all while recognizing that it's going to be, continuing to be a challenging time. And again, thank the residents for doing their part as we work through this. And thank Jenny for pulling off our first Zoom meeting. She was nervous going into tonight, and appreciate everybody step up. And that's all I have, unless anybody else has anything else. I'd lean on Mr. Anderson.
Before I go make my motion, I'd just like to say I appreciate everybody's thoughts tonight. Once again, I have total confidence in our council. I appreciate the fact that I can state my viewpoints and not get snickered at. So I want to give a big thank you to Jamie also, because I've been using the heck out of the library. That's nice. Be able to still go up there and take a look, and then go down and pick up a sandwich somewhere. So having said that, good meeting. Thank you for the help with this technology. It was kind of fun. I can honestly say now that I sat at a council meeting and ate Doritos, and nobody knew it. So motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
I
So
saw
the next
you,
move is
by the way.
we got to get Ron. Let's get Ron a virtual background for the next meeting. Let's get him something fun right behind him there. So
Yeah.
throw a Chicago
Cubs.
Cubs. There you go. All right, guys.